Ernie.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hafide Zantiro. Welcome to Marianas Stories. I'm Catherine Perry, and this is where we feature ordinary people with extraordinary stories in our community. And our guest today has been a bakery worker for over 4 decades, Ernesto Leneses. Ernie,
Yes,
good
ma'am.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thanks for having us here at Herman's Modern Bakery. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you, ma'am, and it's nice to meet you also. The pleasure is mine.
So you have a very interesting story about how you started working here in 1978.
1979, to be corrected. March 2nd, 1979.
Thank you. So what happened? How did you end up here?
Okay, ma'am. It started like this. It was 1978 when Mr. Huang Pan went to the Philippines and hired some bakers through an agency. Now, the agency selected my company to be the trade test site, and he brought Mr. Huang Pan to our bakery to test all the bakers that he's planning to hire. And then I met Mr. Huang Pan in our bakery, and I was a baker at that bakery named Goody Goody Bakery, located in Santa Mesa, Manila. Then as hours goes by, and I talked to Mr. Huang Pan, and I guided him around our facility. And then as soon as the hours finished, the bakers that was hired by Mr. Huang Pan, but some of the bakers that was hired by Mr. Huang Pan never passed his expectation. And us, the bakers from that Goody Goody Bakery, talked to him that, "Sir, can we apply to your bakery?" But Mr. Huang Pan said that, "Your boss told me that I will never touch you guys over here." But we secretly follow Mr. Huang Pan to the hotel. By 6 o'clock, we arrived to his hotel and we applied for a position. Then Mr. Huang Pan has no choice because his bakers that was hired by the agency for him never passed his expectation. So 5 of us from that Goody Goody Bakery was all hired. That was 1978, almost December. So he said that he will expedite the process of processing the entry permit so that we can come in Saipan before April or by March. So then the entry permit came, and we arrived here in Saipan March 2nd, 1979.
Wow, so it's just so lucky that your bakery was chosen for the testing ground for the applicants, but you're the one that actually got hired.
Yes, ma'am. Because those bakers never passed the expectation of Mr. Roman. Some of them are applying to be a baker, but they didn't know how to bake.
How many years experience did you have baking at that time before you came to Saipan?
Well, that Goody Goody Bakery was a DBA only by the Aguinaldo Brothers Company Incorporated, which their main business is logging and pearl culture. But because of the hobby of the owner to taste some product, so he started the Goody Goody Bakery, and I joined the Goody Goody Bakery 1969.
Wow.
And
so you've actually been working in this field for half a century.
Almost, yeah.
Almost half a
By
century.
1969, I joined them right after graduation of my high school. And when I was hired by that company, I started as a main janitor.
Oh.
So every day I am washing the tray almost taller than me. I have to finish that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I am up to 3 o'clock only in the afternoon. So I tried to finish that one. So I told myself, if my work is only like this, I will never have something for my future. So I started looking at those guys baking the bread. So from what I am looking and I'm observing, I try to focus it and I try to remember it during my resting time. So, and I noticed that the company has a small library and contains so much baking books. So I start borrowing the books, and then that's the time I learned that, oh, this is how the bread I am eating is being processed. So from then on, I think I started working them October 1969. By November, some of the baker that was working was taken by the owner to go somewhere else. So we were very few by the time. So fortunately, the head baker pulled me out from the maintenance department and put me as a baker helper, and then that's the time I started to learn the baking fully.
Wow, so you started as a janitor
Yes,
and just
ma'am.
watched the people who were baking,
Yeah.
read the books at the bakery. So what was it like when you came to Saipan back in 1979?
Oh.
What was the process like here at the bakery?
Oh, the process, since Mr. Huampan knows about the field of baking, so, and we as a baker has extra knowledge, we started from the very basic, because by that time, there are very few products being made by the bakery. And as you know, the old folks called the Herman's product, the sweetbread and the Pullman, they called it panmamis and pandangkulo. But during this time, maybe your mom can share that.
Panmamis and
The panmamis is
pandangkulo.
what we call the sweetbread, and pandangkulo is what we call the Pullman. And there is also one product that is a round type that is very crispy or brittle. They call it panrojo, which is pantosta.
Ah,
Yeah, that's the old folk how
not
how they call it.
bruschetti.
Bruschetti is different product.
Okay.
Bruschetti is a version of a product between cookies and cakes. Too much to be called, too less to be called cookies, but too much to be called cake. So that's why it's called bruschetti.
Okay,
I
so
don't know
you-
how the term bruschetti came about.
So you only had a few products.
Very few products: cookies, bruschetti, chamorro cake, pullman, and sweetbread. And then as years goes by that time the baking process is just the basic process, and you know, there are very small consumers in the community, so we have a small amount of production. We have only one van delivery that goes around the island.
One van
Yeah,
for
one van
delivery.
delivery that goes around the island. Then as years goes by, we are hiring bakers from the Philippines because the population of the island is increasing. So it means that the consuming public is increasing, so the demands for the bakery product is getting higher and higher. So we started to hire additional bakers to help us the process. And by that time, we are making some product for the PSS, food service. We make some cookies and the
Public
bread.
school system, yeah.
So we continue baking, and then as the years goes by, the community consumers are getting bigger. So we add so many products.
More consumers, and the consumers are eating more, I think.
Yes, ma'am. Because the demand for the bakery product, you know, some people want to try another product besides the daily rice that they are consuming.
Yeah.
And by that time, I think there are only two bakery sites on that island. The one is the Sunset Bakery and the Herman's Modern Bakery.
So you started as a baker,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you are now a manager. Can you tell us what are the positions you've held, and what are your current responsibilities?
Nowadays, now during my baking position, 1979 up to 1980s, I worked as a baker and a baker leader. So during that time, all the job orders to be produced, besides the standard production of daily production record, additional orders are being posted on the boards. We have to examine that as our daily guidance for what are the additional production for the day and for the tomorrow's delivery. As you know, that when the people are increasing, the demand for the product is increasing, so there are many orders that is being added. And during that time, since population is becoming bigger, we try to develop new formula based on our knowledge and what we can do through different ingredients. By that time, the ingredients is so limited because we don't want to overstock the ingredients because the consuming public is still small. So what we produce additional product based on our ingredients. So that's what we are doing. Every day we check the bulletin board if there's any additional order, and then any additional order either for today pick up or the following day pick up. We have to produce that one, segregate, and ready for pickup.
So you are now a production manager, is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct?
By that time, during those days, I supervise also, as a baker, I supervise also my team because the team needs guidance to lead how we can go smoothly. Yeah.
Oh, and so you were you went from baker to
Supervisor to production manager.
production manager. And you said when you first came here there was only one delivery van.
Yeah, we
How
have
many
one.
delivery vans does the bakery have now?
Considering the delivery one for the production area, we have 4. But there are also delivery van for the PSS, but I don't know how many.
Wow,
The
that's a
PSS.
lot of growth.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any special skills or types of personality you think are necessary for working in a bakery?
Well, something like that. Somebody has to have a passion and interest.
Like you did in the
Yeah,
beginning when
yes,
you were a
ma'am.
janitor in the bakery.
Yeah. If a person is has an ambition or has an aim to become a baker, he has to adapt it truly by heart. Because if he's just planning to become a baker and just to learn something without embracing the concept of the trade, he will never be successful. Because nowadays, once you become a baker, it has to be truly by your heart, because nowadays baking industry is already not a home baking, it's already a science. Nowadays, you can see in the United States, there are some food institutions, they call it food technologies, or CIA, Culinary Institute of America, which they are teaching baking, cooking, and all on it. So that's why the baking industry nowadays is much improved compared to the baking before. Because baking before, during those days, 1950s, 1960s, is just an art, just a hobby of a housewife, just home baking. They are not really emphasizing the needs of the community. But nowadays, they are emphasizing so much of the needs of the community, and already the process has become a science.
What do you enjoy most about it?
Well, what I enjoy so much about baking is if I created something and the product that I created is being enjoyed and appreciated by the consuming public, oh, it's very heartwarming. And if you become fully baker, you have to be embrace it, and you will feel the success in your heart.
So I think one of the products that Herman's is best known for is pantuba.
Yes.
Do you know how to make pantuba?
Yes, ma'am, very well.
All right. Okay. Does Herman's have any secret recipes that they guard, like KFC guards their recipe? Does Herman's have any recipes like that?
Ma'am, considering the trades of the baking industry, each industry has its own keep secret being kept and guarded. But we that's the thing is being protected, and that term is being protected by our bakers.
So there's no use for me to ask you if you share any recipes with us today.
Well, what I can share about
Tips.
secret recipe is another secret recipe of the baking industry is by heart.
Do it with your heart.
Do it with your heart. Do it with your passion. Do it with your what do you call that? By your heart. You are asked to do it. If you do it, that you are asked to do it, the will never as nice as what you're expecting to be. That's why I consider the baking industry that it's a truly what you call that profession. Because if you do it by heart, then your product will turn out nice.
So that's Ernie's secret ingredient for today. If you want to improve your cooking, put some love into it.
Yes, ma'am. Love what you're doing.
What do you think has made this bakery a success for so long, over 40 years? What do you think is the secret to?
Well, ma'am, in its organization that's running a business, of course, without proper cooperation, what you call that, the person involved in the baking or in the industry is not cooperating, they will never turn into success.
The teamwork.
That it's always a teamwork, because an effort to be contributed, to be shared by everybody. Whatever is necessary for us, we can adjust. We have always cooperation, and we are working together for the success of the organization.
what do you feel is your particular strength or contribution that you bring to everything you've done in your career? What do you bring to the team, you feel?
Okay. I always say to the team, never say no to the customer that is asking to have a product, because the pay amount that the customer is going to pay for the product that we are going to make is where our salary is coming from. That's why it's very hard to say no to the demand of the customer, because the customer will never ask your product unless he appreciate or they appreciate it, right? So if I'm a customer and I'm asking to some specific product, well, we are going to, if they need it immediately, then we can say, ma'am, probably there is no time to finish this today, but you can go back, you can come back tomorrow so that you can have your fresh product the following day. So denying the request of a customer as if you're turning them down and you are preventing them to taste the quality of your product. So my what do you call that? How do you explain it? My analysis for that one is never turn down the request of the customer, because once the customer requests for something else, it means that the customer is appreciating what you're making and they are appreciating the product that you're making.
Wow. My understanding is you guys also have worked to develop some new recipes and products
yes, ma'am.
in response to what the customers
Yes,
are
ma'am.
asking for.
Yes, ma'am. We are trying to meet the demand of the customer. If the product is not yet on our developing stage, if there is a certain request, we try to ask them that, okay, if you can wait at least 3 to 4 days, we will try to develop the formula.
So after working here so long, it must almost feel like a family.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean to you, to having worked in the same company for so long and to develop also yourself in your career with the same company?
You know, ma'am, actually, this is the second company I work for in my entire life. I worked 10 years at the Goody Goody Bakery before I moved to Saipan. If I choose to work after 2 years, if I choose to work another company, then I was thinking that's another adjustment. And the hardest thing, workplace is to make another adjustment and to make another, build the environment as what you built before. That's why I decided to continue working with them, because, the family and the company is treating me so nice, so well. That's why in return to what they are treating me, I contributed my effort and I follow what is necessary to be done and help the company to grow. Because I know everybody's ambition, everybody's desire is to grow. So if I decided to grow, if I grow, so the company must grow also.
You were talking about how you have to put love and passion into your cooking. And it seems to me, talking with you, that you still have a lot of passion for this work. You still have a lot of energy. Is there anything on the horizon or in the future that you would like to accomplish, either personally or on behalf of the company?
Oh, well, ma'am, at my age, I know I am already, half of my life is already, or more than half of my life is in the baking industry, and probably I still capable of working several years before I say my retirement. But of course, there are some things that I have to enjoy also for my personal. Yeah, I was thinking too. But baking industry is really a passion actually, because one more thing that makes the baking industry as a love of my life is, as I said before, that once you created something and you heard that the person who tastes that what you created is so much happy and appreciate what you did, it's very heartwarming.
Do you have a favorite product? What is your favorite thing to bake?
You know, in baking industry, almost what you have created is almost your favorite. But one more thing is the best is the Herman's sweetbread.
Sweetbread?
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say the same thing. I think the sweetbread is my favorite.
Yeah, sweetbread. When I took my vacation last 2019, I took some sweetbread with me. And my family said that, oh, this kind of bread is so nice. Already 3 days on the table and it's still soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And adding to the product that we created, which I can say we created the most and still ongoing, especially early in the morning, is our pandesal. I can say proudly that our pandesal, even 2 days ago, as long as it is in the plastic bag, it never get hard. We started the pandesal a little bit, 2 trays or 3 trays, baking it. Then after we introduced that one, until such time that people of the island came to know that we are serving the hot pandesal every morning. So it's becoming so much in need, especially during Sunday, because Sunday some people are not working and they have some own. Then now that some of the island has some of the bakeries, they're trying to produce their own pandesal, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think our pandesal at Herman's Bakery is raised above all what they are trying. I can say that.
Contributed to it.
Oh yes, ma'am.
Any final thoughts before we go, or anything more you'd like to share?
Oh well, ma'am. The only thing I can share is when there is ups and downs, like calamities, natural calamities, everybody should stay positive and focused to what we are going to do, because if we are not going to work together despite of these calamities, we'll never get success. We have some ups and downs also during the typhoon calamities, just like Typhoon Sudiler and Typhoon Yuto, but we still manage to stand and produce some product to serve the community, even though by the time there are so much hardship, and probably you feel that also during those calamities. So we stand still and we keep on going to produce something for the community. That's the only thing I can say, that during those hard times we should think positively to focus and think properly what we should do to recover things that make us down. So if we keep on thinking like that positively, I think we can be several steps ahead from what we are going to plan for the future.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
sharing
much,
your
ma'am.
story with us, and we wish you the best.
By the way, you have another question here. What is working with the
You
farm
can see
company?
why he got to be production manager. He's very analytical.
You have a question here that what has working with the family company for so many years mean to you? Well, let me answer that question.
I did ask, but go ahead.
It is a very nice question. Working with the family with so much generosity to the employee, it's very heartwarming, and my relationship to the company and to the family is, I will keep that for all times. It is unforgettable because their generosity, the generosity to all the employees that they have, they consider that as a family also. In times that our employee has some problems with the family, we shared our thoughts, we shared our financial contribution for them to help their expenses. And me, as an employee who worked for them for several times, I will never forget the generosity, because I will not be who am I today without the chance that they given to me to work with them. That's why I'm very thankful that I was able to be part of the organization as an employee, and I am very thankful that they give me this opportunity to become an employee of Herman's Bakery. I am very thankful to the family and to the organization, because there are so much things generous things for the employee, not only for the employee but for the community. And that thing I salute, and I will never forget.
Well, we've been chatting today with Ernesto, and we found out he's worked over 40 years here in Saipan in the bakery, and
By
another
the
10 years in the
experience.
Philippines, so over 50 years working in the baking industry.
Oh, I might add that by March 2nd, it will be my 43 years at Herman's Bakery.
Oh, congratulations! That's next week.
Next week, ma'am.
Wonderful.
That is Ash Wednesday, right? So March 2nd, it will be Ash Wednesday.
Thank you, Ernie, for sharing.
Thank you, ma'am.
This has been Marianas Stories. I'm Catherine Perry.